to the Passenger Seat Podcast, a podcast designed to fill your passenger seat with chat about classic cars, all recorded from my 1968 Morris Minor Peggy. I'm Becca, and today it'll be my 2024 roundup and what I'm looking forward to in 2025. So 2024 has been quite a year of ups and downs, I think. Some stuff that was completely unplanned, some stuff that was planned, and lots of things happening here on the podcast and obviously just in my general motoring. I think the biggest thing to obviously talk about this year was Peggy getting her restoration. It was a big goal to get her through that this year and to make her the car that she deserved to be. And I'm really glad that that was able to happen. I'm absolutely thrilled with how she is now, and it's great to have a car that I'm hugely proud of and that I have so much joy in telling people about, taking places and things like that. She was always a really important car to me, and she's done us really well. But towards the end there, she was getting kind of a little bit rough around the edges, and it was really kind of a little bit of an apology every time I introduced her to someone, in terms of saying, I'm really sorry, she's going in for restoration really soon. And so to be on the other side of that and be able to say, yeah, no, actually, I am really proud of this car. I'm really proud of saving it and doing the work that it needed to be able to last another good few years. Hopefully upwards of 10, we'll see. But I'm really thrilled with the work. I'm really thrilled with how she looks. I'm thrilled with how people talk about her now. And to have got a really good, solid car that's going to see me through many years of happy motoring is an absolute privilege, but also an absolute joy. And I'm ever so thankful to 2024 for us being able to achieve that. Looking again at highlights, I think being able to move into an automotive career, even if it has been a little bit rocky and unexpected in places, has been a real turning point for me in 2024. I'm really looking forward to, and I'll get on to more of that, what 2025 holds, but being given the kind of opportunity to make that leap and make that change and be able to experience something a bit different, try out something I'm so passionate about and interested in, and also be able to now have the space to do a few more things with cars and cars that I love is something that I'm always going to be super grateful for. Thanks to Peggy having to go away for a while, I did manage to try out a few cars that I perhaps and get some longer term experience with a few cars that I don't think I would have otherwise had the opportunity to enjoy. Most notably was the Morris Minor Owners Club van, getting that for a month and having the opportunity to experience how just a different body shell can make quite a considerable difference to how a car feels and how it drives, and what elements are enjoyable, what kind of things are a bit different. That was a really cool experience and made that time without Peggy really special and a bit more manageable. We obviously also got to use Dad's chamois a little bit more this year, both with the Singer Owners Club weekend where we used that because Peggy was still away, and obviously because she was a singer, and I've used her for a couple of shows as well, and it's a lovely car, and getting to know it a little bit better was another fantastic thing this year. And on top of that, we also got to do a couple of drives in Nelly, my dad's 1935 Singer Le Mans, who is very special to me, and I hope to be able to get to know her a little bit better in 2025, and both kind of mechanically and driving wise, because there's a few things that need sorting out on her. And I got my first drive in Dad's 1931 Singer Junior as well. So it's been a great year for trying out cars that I already kind of knew of and were familiar with. And of course we've had Jaffa join the fleet, and getting to know him has been fantastic as well. Many moons ago on this podcast I did a top 10 cars that I would like to drive one day, and to own in our household one of those cars, the Reliant Scimitar, is fantastic. And whilst I still favour going out in Peggy, it is fun to have a bit of a trip out in Jaffa as well. And it's a completely different car, completely different driving style, and I think when I've had a little bit more experience I might do a bit more of an in-depth review of the differences and really look into that fact that this car and Jaffa are only kind of 3 or 4 years apart really, but are completely different worlds, and it is kind of fascinating when you think about it that way. I've had some fantastic trips this year with the WDSC, with the Morris Minor Young Members, with the Morris Minor Owners Club. We've really been able to get out and properly enjoy our classics, and that's always fantastic. It's an absolute joy to have so many filled weekends over a summer and be able to spend so much time with the fantastic people that owning a classic car gets you to get to know and become part of your lives. I do wonder where I'd be getting my friendships from if it wasn't for classic cars, and I am ever so grateful to all of the people that we've been able to spend time with this year and get out and about with. We've had some really great locations for stuff, like being able to have that fantastic campsite with the Women Drivers Social Club on the North Weekender, the trip to Shuttleworth and the RAF Museum at Cosford with the young members, all absolutely fantastic. The Newark Air Museum with the young members when we went to Thoresby, and I always love going to Thoresby. And of course this year was the year that we had the very first Rustivals, and to be able to go to both of those, get to go on the stage there and kind of talk about things that I'm passionate about, podcasting and women in automotive, was just brilliant, and a real asset to the classic car community, and fantastic to be a part of. I've also, whilst a lot of Peggy's big jobs this year have obviously been done as part of the restoration work that was done, I've been pleased that there's been a few things that I've been able to be a little bit more hands-on with. Getting the seats reupholstered was something I was really pleased to be part of, and the result of being able to meet previous owners thanks to taking those seats apart was a fantastic thing to add to my knowledge of what Peggy is and has been. And so doing that myself meant that not only did I get to know the car better, but also I got to know this particular car better in terms of its history. So that was really fun and a fantastic thing to have learned how to do. A few weeks ago Peggy's alternator went, and whilst it was a real struggle and I did have to get some help from the young members chat and ultimately my dad, because replacement parts are never quite accurate to an original part in terms of fitting directly, or slight upgrades that you're trying to do often require some sort of alteration. But initially feeling confident enough to make the first attempt by myself and having a go at that was something that again is just coming with years of ownership, and I'm really pleased about that. As well as all the fantastic trips that we've had with them, just seeing the young members and the Women Drivers Social Club go from strength to strength has been fantastic this year. Obviously the second year of the Women Drivers Social Club, and the goodness knows how many years it is, but it was my third year with the Morris Minor young members, and that was a really special thing to see kind of numbers growing, to see how many people had come along to national, and the same with the Women Drivers Social Club in terms of seeing more and more people coming along to the events. And it seems to be quite reassuringly that when people come along to one event, they're then trying really hard to make sure that they're able to come along to future events because they've enjoyed themselves so much of that initial trip. So a really good year for them. And bringing it back to the podcast in terms of numbers, we finally surpassed the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. The numbers on Spotify and other podcasting platforms have been continuously growing, so that's been great to see. And it's been lovely to start to meet more people who are listening in various different places along the way, who enjoy the podcast, and to meet someone who listens in from Australia at the NEC. Shout out to Russ and Susan for getting involved at the NEC, and also being great listeners and stuff to the podcast along the way. And it's just been so nice to see it kind of steadily growing. And Peggy's restoration series played a huge part in getting people onto the channel on YouTube, so that was fantastic. And it was really lovely to document it, because those of you who haven't been here kind of since the start might not realise that this is never intended to be something for anything other than me documenting my experiences and what it's like having a Morris Minor, dailying it, doing all of the things that it requires, and also kind of the people that I meet along the way, the stories that I hear. It's always been about that. And so being able to use the platform to document Peggy's restoration, but also kind of share with other people the answers to questions that I had going into it, has been really helpful, and something that I was really pleased to be part of. So 2025 has begun by the time you're watching it, but it's coming this evening as I record this, and it's shaping up to be a pretty exciting year. I've got lots of things to look forward to. We've got Rustival 3, which will be something that I think we're all looking forward to, because it's been such an asset to the calendar. We've got the Morris Minor National Weekend. I've got the Singer Owners Club National Weekend that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm waiting to hear more details about those. I know kind of whereabouts they are, but other than that, it's kind of exciting to find out what will be happening and more details about those sorts of things. We've got Women's Drivers Social Club weekenders East and West, as well as the Winter Warmer that will be only a few weeks away now, and then International Women's Day. The young members have got a fantastic trip to Northern Ireland that I'm really looking forward to, and we might extend it and explore a bit more of the country whilst we're there. Yeah, it's shaping up to already be a fantastic year. So much stuff creeping into the calendar already, and we're not even kind of out of 2024. I'm obviously hoping to continue to expand my kind of self-employment business side of things. I've got a few exciting things hopefully lined up for January onwards, and kind of seeing where that takes me. And yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting year, I think. And of course, being able to do a whole year with Peggy looking as glorious as this and not having to, hopefully, touch wood, be without her for too long, will be great. I've got some mechanical stuff that I want to do. I've got a new carb that I'd like to try and fit and try out in the new year, so obviously I'll take yourselves along with me for that. And it's not a simple swap, because I've managed to get one that's oppositely orientated to the one that I've got on the car, because that's always the way things go. More adventures hopefully in Jaffa, seeing what we can do about getting the Spitfire to be a little bit more reliable and trustworthy, and a more enjoyable, usable member of the fleet for sure. And of course 2025 brings to an end my time kind of being in charge of the young members. The Northern Ireland trip will technically be my last trip, but really that's a Dara organised event, so I'll be mostly there to enjoy myself, and then it will be passed over to Nathaniel and Dara in kind of completion in April. And it's been a fantastic thing to have been part of, and really special to build up the WhatsApp group and the support and the help that everyone offers each other, and again those friendships that have been made through that group will obviously continue to be a really important part. And I'm obviously not disappearing. I'll still be turning up to Morris Minor Young Member stuff as long as I'm able to, but it'll be in a go and enjoy myself entirely capacity, rather than having to worry about numbers and collecting money and stuff like that. Instead, all of that energy will be going into the Women Drivers Social Club and anything that I get hired for through my business, the Passenger Seat Profiles and Promotions, which again, something I'm really looking forward to being able to do more of in the new year. But I think that rounds out 2024 and welcomes in 2025 reasonably well. As you've been watching on the YouTube channel, if that's how you take in the podcast, you'll have seen it's been getting darker, and it is New Year's Eve when I'm recording this. And I know that a lot of New Year's Day runs have been cancelled thanks to the horrific weather, but I hope that you do get the opportunity to go out in your classics and enjoy them. Soon, many of them postponed to the much better weather on Saturday, and it should be hopefully a nice way to eventually ring in 2025 behind the wheels of our favourite vehicles. But I want to thank you all ever so much for listening and being part of the podcast for the last year. I hope you've had a fantastic festive period, and continue to enjoy what I am able to pop out on this channel, and you would continue to enjoy listening and sharing in the experiences that I get to have. And I'd love to hear, if you are listening on YouTube, some of your highlights of 2024 and what you're looking forward to in 2025, so that I might get some ideas of what we can try and squeeze into what I haven't got booked up already in 2025. But once again, thank you ever so much for listening. Drive safely and happy motoring.